Alright guys, before we get into the video, we're going to be doing a new giveaway.
The D&D Beyond Players Bundle.
In that bundle, we have the Player's Handbook, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Xander's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So you're going to have tons of character options.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below on the video so you're entered to win a great giveaway coming from us very soon.
Alright guys, on to the video. Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit special for you. We have, as you can see, some minis out here for scale comparison.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Orcus.
Ugh, I got a chill, sorry.
Yes. Big bad, scary demon lord. So, we'll just give you some size comparisons here. We have here is a small gnome, a medium humanoid, a large humanoid, a huge Kyrian, and a gargantuan purple worm. This is from the premium set. Yeah, so this is going to be comparable in quality to Purple Worm here, as it is a premium mini that is part of, well, this is just an individual release. It's not part of a set, whereas this was part of the Fangs and Talons set,
Right.
Premium. But we'll just, without any further ado, pull out the big bad boy. We have big ol' Orcus.
Yeah.
Now, technically, as you can see on here, and I'll get some close-ups as well in another camera angle here, but they have a ring around the base, which is the actual size, because Orcus is a huge creature, not gargantuan.
So technically he's the same class as the Kyrian.
So he would be similar in size with Kyrian here. Technically.
Right.
From a stat block perspective.
Yes.
Obviously, they wanted to make him bigger and badder and scarier, so
They made
the base bigger, but as you can see, there's a circle on here.
Right.
But yeah, that is the mini. We'll get some close-up shots as well, and I'll put this thing on rotate so we can get some. But we're going to talk a little bit about the old Orcus here, as he is a demon lord, which makes him a very interesting choice for something like the end of a campaign, as he is CR 26.
Yes.
And he can, especially if he's in his lair, that's a whole nother ordeal, because his lair actions are pretty nasty.
Yes.
Considering Power Word Kill is one of the lair actions. 405 hit points, average. So he's kind of chunky, but he has resistances to cold, fire, and lightning, so nothing too crazy. Immune, though, to necrotic, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. And, of course, immune to charmed, exhaust, frightened, and poisoned.
Once you get past the fun stat block stuff, you get to where things get really interesting and dangerous. Starting off with what he holds in his right hand, the Wand of Orcus. Has 7 charges with a saving throw for anything cast by it of a DC of 18. So high, but not unbeatable. But he can cast Animate Dead, Blight, or Speak with Dead at will from the wand. Fun. Or he could spend 1 or more charges to cast one of the following spells. Circle of Death for 1 charge. Finger of Death for 1 charge. Or Power Word Kill for 2 charges, and it regains 1d4 plus 3 charges daily at dawn. It also specifies that he can use an action to conjure undead creatures whose combined average hit points doesn't exceed 500 HP.
Yeah, kind of ridiculous.
So he can summon enough HP around him to be more than what his average is for himself.
Right.
And unoccupied spaces within 300 feet of him. So he can put them all in front. He can put them all behind him. Right. He can spread them around, depending on how he wants to, because he's going to be smart. He's not just going to. He's not a dumb, big, angry monster that wants just to eat something. He's smart. He's a charisma caster with a spell save of 23 and a plus 15 to hit with his spell attacks. He's got Chill Touch, Detect Magic, Create Undead, Dispel Magic, and once per day, Time Stop. 3 legendary resistances, magic resistance, of course, as well. His weapons attacks are magical. And finally, Master of Undeath. When he casts Animate Dead or Create Undead, he chooses the level at which the spell is cast. The creatures created by the spell remain under his control indefinitely. Additionally, when he casts Create Undead, even when it isn't at night.
So he's going to have swarms of...
Yes.
It's not just going to be him on his own. And even if somehow you manage to catch him on his own, he can summon undead multiple different ways.
Yep.
He makes 2 Wand of Orcus attacks, and with the Wand of Orcus, it's a melee weapon attack, plus 19 to hit, reach of 10 feet, but it's not a ton of damage. Or you can make a tail attack, which is plus 16 to hit, reach 10. So he's got some variety of options. He's primarily a caster, I would say.
Yes.
With all the options he has. And more of a, I would say, like a general.
Yes.
3 legendary actions as normal. And one of which is just a regular tail attack. Second one is he casts Chill Touch, the cantrip, at 17th level, which is 4d8. So, just a solid amount of damage to do as a legendary action.
Legendary action, yeah.
But where the scariness comes in.
Yep.
Creeping Death. It does take 2 legendary actions, but he can choose a point on the ground that he can see within 100 feet. A cylinder of swirling necrotic energy 60 feet tall, and with a 10-foot radius, rises from that point and lasts until the end of Orcus's next turn. Creatures in that area are vulnerable to necrotic damage. So, you might say, well, it's not that big of a radius. A 10-foot radius is not very big. But it's a legendary action, so he can do it on the character's turn that's right before his, so he can guarantee that someone's going to get annihilated with necrotic damage, basically.
Finger of Death.
Yeah, Finger of Death is going to be absolutely disgusting when you have vulnerable to the damage.
Yep.
And then, of course, fun part of that is, too, when a humanoid dies, if he just wants to animate someone in your party, that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Well. Definitely a end of campaign kind of level boss.
Yes.
And I think much more interesting than something like a Tarrasque. Tarrasque is just like big armor, hit points,
yes,
and
meat
it
shield.
hits stuff. I mean, it has like spell reflect and stuff, but this is a much more interesting, I would say, fight.
Yeah.
And then you can do lots more tactics with it, where you're summoning undead, or maybe even he sees a healer and he just summons a bunch of undead around a healer. Obviously, he's smart. He's got 20 intelligence, so he's not going to do that around a cleric or a paladin because, turn undead could be really strong against him, and he would be aware of that.
Yep.
But if you have someone like a druid or a bard or a wizard or someone who is vulnerable to being surrounded,
yes,
they're going to have a very scary
wizard sorcerer come to mind immediately of getting swarmed and getting ate in a hurry.
But that's not all, because
there's more.
If you do manage to catch him in his lair,
don't do that.
That's a very bad decision.
Don't do that,
because there are some very scary lair actions on there.
Yes, there are. On initiative count of 20, losing initiative ties, Orcus can take a lair action to cause one of the following effects. He can't use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. His voice booms throughout the lair. His utterance causes one creature of his choice to be subjected to power word kill. He doesn't need to see the creature, but he must be aware the individual is in his lair. So, just as a lair action, once a round, he's got a chance just to go away for whenever he's in. He can create up to 6 corpses to rise as skeletons, zombies, or ghouls, and they obey him telepathically. Because again, so he has more army of things for you to deal with. So to me, it's almost like if you don't have a cleric or a paladin in there to help deal with some of this endless mob,
right,
or somebody that's got like huge amounts of AoE spells for damage,
right,
you're just going to get overrun by all this stuff. And finally, causes a skeletal arm to rise from the ground in an area of 20 square foot that he can see. Lasts till the next initiative count 20. Each creature in the area, 23 DC saving throw, strength saving throw will be restrained. So you're just stuck in there. So what he's going to do as a lair action, he's going to do that. Then he'll put the cylinder in there as a legendary action, right, and then he'll just start annihilating you with undead. Yeah. Necrotic magic.
And as a reminder, restrained, speed becomes 0, can't benefit from bonus to speed. Attack rolls against creature have advantage, their attack rolls have disadvantage, and creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So you are stuck.
Yes.
In a rough spot.
And of course, for extra flavor, not only does you have lair actions, but a lot of these monsters of this high CR have regional effects as well.
Right.
And it says, dead beasts periodically animate as undead mockeries of their former selves. Skeletal zombies and versions of local wildlife are commonly seen. Air becomes filled with the stench of rotting flesh, and buzzing flies grow thick. If any humanoid spends an hour within 1 mile of the lair, the creature must succeed a DC 23 wisdom saving throw or descend into madness, determined by the Madness of Orcus table. Creature succeeds the saving throw, can't be affected by this regional effect for 24 hours. Yeah, if Orcus dies, the effect fades over the course of 1d10 days. He is so, has such a presence over the area that it takes days after you have killed him for the effects to go away, of his madness to go away.
And some of the madness options that are available. So basically, woe is me.
Yeah.
And I get some lich vibes up in here, where it's like, I want to achieve everlasting existence of undeath.
Yeah.
It's like I almost see it as like, if you got something like that, it could be like their descent into madness when they like want to take over what his objective was. So, a pretty crazy big bad here.
Yes.
And again, this mini is very interesting. Personally, my preferences on here, I think the purple worm is a little bit more detailed, has a bit more, I don't know, I prefer the purple worm. I do think this one is pretty well done. It does have lots of detailing on the wings and everything. And, I mean, it's got some weight to it, obviously. It's pretty big. And there's lots of detailing on here. We'll get close-ups on that. But these big minis are definitely like set pieces or even collectibles where, you put these on a display or whatever. You have a bunch of them. And we're going to have more of those coming soon. No spoilers. Again, end of campaign. It's going to be tough to beat this one out, especially if you're doing some kind of thing in the Abyss or something where Orcus has come to material plan to try to take over.
I mean, overall, I think there is good detail. You see the sinewy muscle on these. Got the cloven hooves at the bottom. The skulls on his belt. The skull on the wand of Orcus is there. It's everything you see. If you see the picture, like in the book that shows what he looks like, there's no denying that's who it is. You wouldn't have to have us tell you based on the imagery.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it does a good job of getting. I think it's a good idea sometimes to maybe over exaggerate the size compared to other scale, just to kind of further bring that intimidating presence of just how big and bad this guy really is. And I think that shows up pretty well in his mini.
Yeah, mini. But guys, that's going to wrap up our thoughts on this one. So if you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to know when our new videos are coming out. And that's so you're entered into this round of giveaways.
That's right.
Coming soon. And if you have anything you want to see from us or any comments you want to have on videos you want to see from us in the future or anything like that, stories about your campaigns, always love to read those. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.